my channel. So today I'm going to do a new intro for a new project that I have never done before, but I've been wanting to do for several years now, and I've finally decided to join in. I obviously didn't start in January, but we're going to start in February. It is fine. It is what it is. It is going to happen. So I don't know what's happening to me, but I really am into my red lip era. This is the second video in a row I have red lips. So, you know, I don't know how long it's going to last, but I'm actually enjoying it. And I don't know, maybe it's just like the lighting and stuff. I just feel like I need to have a bold lip. So I think I'm in my red lip era. We'll see how long it lasts. It might not even go forth past this video. So this project, as you can see in the title, is an eyeshadow project. It is a project pan, somewhat of a pan that palette, somewhat of a no pan left behind style project. And it is something that I have seen Sarah Katherine do for a few years now. She is an eyeshadow enthusiast, and she created this project pan all to do with eyeshadows, and it's the years usage eyeshadow project pan. So what does that mean? If you're not familiar with what this is, it is a year-long project pan that you roll into the next year and the next year and the next year, depending on if you want to carry on. I'm hoping that I'll do this for several years because the first year is the trickiest, and then as you get into it, actually it's not so bad. So ultimately, what I have decided to do is I have pulled 8 palettes from my collection that I'm rolling into this project. And because we're in the year of 2024, that means that the ultimate goal, but it doesn't matter if you don't reach this goal because it does roll over to the next year. The goal is to use every shade in the palette 24 times each, or to the point that you hit a pan. Obviously, some of these palettes that I'm rolling in, I already have a pan, so my goal will be to just use the shade 24 times. I'm not foreseeing myself completing any of these, to be fair, this year. However, what happens is the longer you do this project, the better, because let's say I'm still doing it next year. If I've used one shade 20 times this year, next year, instead of having to restart and do 25 times, I'm only going to need to do 5 times because I will have reached the 25 goal. So that is basically what the project is. You can, I think, do monthly, bi-monthly, whenever updates you want to do. I really only have seen Sarah Katherine do this, and I've been following her for the last few years, and I've been really wanting to do this myself. And I feel like this is a good year to start. I don't know why, but I'm going to start this year. So we're going to do it. So I have actually marked all of my eyeshadow in my trusty project pan notebook here. I just decided to use the same one that I used last year because I still have plenty more pieces of paper and sheets in here. I didn't want to grab something different. And let me just show you how I've done it. I've done it the same way that Sarah does it, where every page is a different palette, and then I have all of the shades written out, and I'm just going to tally. So anytime that I go into this palette and I use this one shade, I will mark it down. And I do think that I'll probably do bi-monthly updates as opposed to monthly updates, because I think there'll be probably less to talk about every single month, but I definitely want to do this at least every 2 months. But let's get into all the palettes that I'm going to be rolling in, because I'm super excited, and also I really made it my goal to roll in palettes that I really want to use this year, that I massively neglected last year, and, you know, just like some of my favorites that I wasn't able to pick from my pan that palette, let's say. So, all right, let's get into it. So the first one I'm going to be rolling in is the ColourPop California Love. I really love this palette, and I didn't use it at all last year. It was in my most neglected palettes of the year because I just didn't even go into it. So this is one of the ColourPop palettes that I have left that I still have yet to meddle with the color story. I've actually left it as is, and I really like the quality of this, and I think the color story is great, and I think there's enough darks and like lighter and sort of mid-tone shades in here that I don't feel like there's too many shades that are redundant. I would say I don't really care for the glitter, but whatever. And yeah, I'm going to try to see, you know, I think my first goal will be to do a no pan left behind on all of these palettes. So all 8 palettes, I want to make sure that I use every shade at least once. Obviously, the ultimate goal is to use them 24 times each. Like I said, I don't think it's going to happen, but if I do complete a whole palette and I do use everything 24 times, then that essentially can be rolled out of the project. That's kind of how it works. And if it isn't, it just rolls in to the next year. So California Love is the first one. I also have decided to roll in my ABH, the Jackie Aina palette. I really love this palette and I have been neglecting it as well. So this is another one that I would love to maybe see another pan in if I can do that, because ABH kind of takes a little, like 20, 24 uses, you know, so maybe if I get that far, I don't know. I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, that I stick to this project, because you know I've been neglecting a few others. I definitely like this side of the palette more than this side, so I might just get these out of the way. I might struggle with these ones hitting the 24 uses. I'm not gonna lie. The purples and the pinks are just not my favorite, but everything else is so, so stunning in this palette. So yeah, excited to be rolling that one in. It gives me an excuse to use these palettes that I love and adore. Next up is the Nabla Dreamy palette. This was one of the options for my pan left palette for this year, and sadly it missed out just by a tiny fraction. It was so, so close, but I definitely wanted to use this palette this year, and I just feel like it would be such a wasted opportunity if I didn't roll it into this project. I don't know if it's going to be rolled into a project level up or anything. Yes, I could pull it for a Shop My Stash and everything like that, but let's just roll it into this project. I love it, and I think especially for this time of year, we're going to go into February, you know, romantic vibes. It might be nice to do a few mauvey looks, although I do have a project level up one, like Norvina palette for my level 3. I'm already working on that, and that's all mauvey too anyway. Next up, I have another ABH. It is the Nouveau palette. This one I think was really beautiful. I thought the quality was really stunning on this palette, and I did also neglect this quite a bit last year. So I would love to see if I can hit a pan in it. I haven't got any pans in this one. I think the formula is really nice. And I think the pan sizes are probably a little bit less dense than the typical ones in the original format. I think they're not as thick, so we'll see. I definitely feel like I could hit pan and Paloma because I already have quite a nice little sort of crater forming there. And yeah, I think this is a really nice, this is also a really good spring one. So I'm thinking like for the year, what palettes do I want to use throughout the whole year? And I think, you know, we're coming up to spring. Can't wait for like the weather to get better. I just want to get like some vitamin D on my skin again. So, you know, I'll be excited for spring with that one. Another spring palette, I think it's a spring palette, is my Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde. This also was for my Pan That palette and it missed out. It came in second, so it almost won the votes, but it very narrowly missed out. And I don't want to neglect it for another year because I didn't really use it that much last year. So what better way than to roll it into this project? And again, yeah, you got these beautiful spring colors. You've got some fun colors, but you've got tons of neutral, tons of mauve, so everyday looks as well. So yeah, I think I'm excited. I'm excited about this project because, you know, it kind of gives me more flexibility. I'm not just going into the palette for one shade. I can play with the whole palette. I honestly feel like I'm breaking free from my prison of, you know, when you have pan those eyeshadows and you can only use the one shade, or my Zodiac panner, I'm only using the one shade. Project Level Up has expanded that, but it's still just one palette, and this is just giving me more. It's giving me more. So I'm very, very excited. And then we have the Chilling in Chicago from BH Cosmetics. I didn't use this at all last year, and it is one of the nicest like formulas that I have. The color story is great, really nice and great for like summer vibes, just those warm tones and those yellows. You could do it, you know, even with spring, I think it would be good, or even autumn as well. So this is a really nice everyday palette that I could use throughout the year, and the formula is great. Would love to get more pans. The pan depth in these BH palettes is not very thick, so yeah, I might be able to get more. I mean, this one I was working on quite a bit in Pana's eyeshadows a couple of years ago, so potentially I could hit Pana that. I'm excited. I'm excited. I have no sort of restrictions. I have no boundaries. I have no set rules. It's just, let's just see how it goes. It's just open and wide. Let's just use my eyeshadow and track it and see how we go. Then we have the Shadow Kiss from Alter Ego, one of my favorite palettes and my favorite Alter Ego palette, and I didn't use it at all last year. So, been using a lot of the Canyon because it's in my project level up. But yeah, I would just love to use this. It's cool tone, so none of these are cool tone. This is just gonna add a different dimension. So when I want to have a cool tone look or want to dip into this, I can, and I have that option, and it's not all just going to be warm tones and brights and neutrals. At least I have some cooler tones and some silvers in here. So love this, love the quality as well. And then last but not least is my Natasha Denona Retro palette. I also had this in for a pan palette option, but didn't get too many votes. However, I would still like to use it, and again, it has a lot of those mauvey tones that I think would be great this time of year, and also towards like the end of the year where we hit autumn, winter vibes. I may still use it throughout the summer and spring, you know, I might, it just depends on my mood, but this is such an expensive palette and I barely used it last year. I would like to use it a little bit more, get more use and more pans. I mean, I basically want more pans in all of these, but I do have 2 pans in here, but it'd be nice to just have it a little bit more loved, you know? So those are the 8 palettes that I'm rolling into the project and have already like written out them all like page by page, so I can straight away just start using them come February, which is now, and we'll just see. So I think my next update will most likely be sometime in April or maybe the end of March. I don't want to do like the beginning of March because that's just going to give me 1 month to work on everything. And like I said, I kind of want to just do this every 2 months, see how I go. If I do crazy amounts and I really want to share it with you, then I will do monthly, but I think bi-monthly will probably be best. And it's something that I want to do for myself, and I just thought let's document it. And I've been really wanting to jump on this project for a couple of years now, and I'm finally ready to do it. I've kind of stripped away a lot of the project pans that I've been doing. I'm really just doing eyeshadow project pans, and I feel really satisfied and happy with that. And I don't think I'm going to do a project pan this year. I think I'm going to take the year off and not do an official project pan for anything other than eyeshadow. Yeah, I don't feel the need to, and honestly, it didn't really bring me as much joy as it normally would last year. So I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna bring it back, but for now, I'm not bringing it back yet. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe if you'd like to, and obviously follow Sarah if you haven't already. And yeah, feel free to jump on the project as well. I think some people do it on Instagram. It's just so low key and like the stakes aren't high, and I like that. I like that it's not stressful. I hope it's not going to be stressful. I don't think it's going to be stressful because it's just play with your eyeshadow, and that's what I want to do. So anyway, thanks everyone. Take care. Bye.